Hey, what's up? I want to send this message to Kwame Brown. Kwame, I've watched a lot of your videos. I'm well aware of everything that's been going on since you basically broke the internet. Just want you to know, man, there's a lot of people out here who, obviously, I know you're aware. You look at the comments of people that support you and agree with you. I just want to offer up like one constructive criticism, if I may. Just one little tweak to what you're doing, to mama's cooking. What that tweak is for as much unity as you're trying to create and the good that you're trying to create from that message of unity, of bettering people. I understand you being a black man wanting to see the black community and these black kids not be left behind. Black professor of linguistics at Columbia University, John McWhorter, basically has like these four things that need to be worked on. I know you talk about coding. I know you talk about the youth centers and whatnot. Conservative and progressive think tanks both agree that if kids cannot have babies before they get married, if they can get a job and work a job, even if it's just part-time, and if they can avoid the criminal justice system, and if they can graduate from high school. If you do those four things, no matter what your race is, in the United States of America, you're pretty much going to avoid living in poverty for your entire life. Now, for those kids who are, in fact, that you're trying to reach, those kids who you are, in fact, trying to make a better way, there's things that we can do rather than just critique the situation. And Professor John McWhorter has put a couple of these things forward. One of them is we've got to get school districts to teach poor kids how to read using the old school, the elders' way, to use your phraseology, to use the elders' way, which was phonics. Kids who are taught to learn by sight words, who are taught to read, to learn how to read using sight words, they go home, and in these poor families, they go home and they don't have books just laying around. They don't have magazines on their coffee tables. So they don't get the reinforcement that middle and upper middle and upper class socioeconomic kids have. So that's the first thing, is that they need to learn how to read based on phonics, because if graduating from high school is one of the key components to never living a life of poverty, then once a kid fails once or twice, the likelihood that he or she is going to be a 20-year-old adult still in high school trying to get that diploma becomes incredibly unlikely. So there's a great curriculum called Spell to Write and Read. Spell to Write and Read is the curriculum that I've used, that my wife and I have used for all three, for two of our children, our two oldest daughters, and we will use for our son. And the whole premise of it is if you're a good speller, you'll be a good reader. But you can be a good reader and not be a good speller. So you teach phonics, where it's A, A, E, where it's B, where it's K, S. You teach the phonics, and you naturally learn to spell, then you naturally learn to write, and then once you learn to spell and you learn to write, reading just comes naturally. So if these kids can read, they will learn math. They won't fall behind. Now, there are studies that show that this is scientifically the better way for all children to learn how to read. And when you can read, you can do math. And these kids won't be left behind educationally. Secondarily is the war on drugs. Obviously, that's one that's like within the political realm, but we can kind of support this idea of what it means to be against the war on drugs. It won't solve everything, but it's a huge and very important thing. The third thing that Dr. McWhorter puts forward is school choice vouchers. If there are schools that are failing poor children, poor black children, those families more than any other group need the option to send their children to better performing schools. So school vouchers, where a family's tax dollars follow the child and the parents have the option, or the grandparents or the aunts and the uncles have the option of where those tax dollars go. So school choice is a huge one. So reading by way of phonics, spell to write and read, is the curriculum that I would highly recommend. There's other phonics-based curriculums. Don't mix the sight word with phonics curriculum. Go straight phonics. If you did phonics-based reading and coding like you're putting forward, you're going to create an entire generation of people that are going to be self-sufficient. So kudos to you for that. So, and then the fourth thing that Dr. McWhorter puts forward, and this is, there's a lot of people that have children accidentally. Family planning is a big key. The fact that so many black people are living in poverty, the fact that there are so many disparities, this is all these things being said that I've just shared with you. This is my one tweak to what you're saying. These things are universal truths. Anybody who doesn't do these things, there is a greater chance for them falling below the poverty line. If you fall below the poverty line, you're going to come in contact with law enforcement more. If you come in contact with law enforcement more, there's a likelihood that you're going to be involved in the criminal justice system. If you're involved in the criminal justice system, it's a likelihood that you're going to be incarcerated. Once you're incarcerated, the likelihood of you getting a job is pretty slim. But the disparity, the unequalness, isn't necessarily an injustice. And it's not always because of race. And in most cases, it's not race. So for Mama's Cooking to really be unifying, let's not make this about white and black. Understand that the whites who are not the friend of the black in America is the progressive liberal white. So conservative whites and non-progressive whites are not the racists. We're not the ones who don't think that black people can fend for themselves. We're not the ones who think that black people are perpetual victims. We don't try to infantilize black people. We don't try to talk down and condescend. But it's the white progressive liberal, like Malcolm X said. Malcolm X said to look out for the white liberal. He is not a friend to the black. The white liberal is a part of the go along, get along gang that you referred to. So look out for these white people, but distinguish, because there's a ton of white people who support your message and support what you're doing and would love to get involved with what you're doing. We want to support you financially, spiritually. We want to throw some prayers your direction. We understand, see what you're doing. Just don't make this a white or black thing, because it's a little more deep. You're a black man who does not toe the line for what the white liberal says that black people should think like. You're not a part of the go along, get along gang. But it's academia, it's the media, there are systems that are in fact racist, but the racism of the systems that we talk about, these are the systems that are run and controlled by progressive ideology. The divide that needs to be distinguished at all time is the ideological divide. We are all humans. You're a man, I'm a man. You got more melanin in your skin. I got less melanin in my skin, but I got melanin. And as a man, we're men in this world raising children, trying to make this place a better place. It has nothing to do with race. That is a made up thing. So don't make it necessarily about black and white. Do your thing like you're doing, but please try to distinguish and try to learn the difference between the white liberal and white conservatives. Try to understand the ideological difference. The ideological difference that really is a divide, is really a separate It's the thing that divides us in the world today, in our country today. It's the thing that tries to tear down the country. It's the white liberal elites. Dr. Thomas Sowell has a book called White Liberals and Black Rednecks. Man, it's a great book. You can get it on audiobook and listen to it. I promise you, man, this is maybe the greatest American philosopher of the 20th and 21st century. And it's a black man, and he is definitely not a part of the Go Along, Get Along gang. And I think it would give you some wind beneath your sails and just some ammunition to really go after the Go Along, Get Along gang. The white and black liberals, the gatekeepers, everything that you said, you're absolutely correct on. And if you listen to Glenn Lowry and John McWhorter, those guys have put forth like real things that empirically, with numbers, they've crunched them, they will make a difference and they will help. And you're absolutely right. The reason that they won't implement these simple and effective, useful methods is because they need a permanent underclass. They need black people to continue to vote 85 to 90% for the Democrat Party in order for them to maintain their power. The Go Along, Get Along gang is a combination of the politics. It's a combination of academics, universities. It's a combination of the media, and the sports media is no different than the corporate media that we see on CNN, NBC, and all these other things. Big tech doesn't want these messages to get out. They take conservative messages and they push them down the algorithm. So continue what you're doing, bro. There's a lot of us out here who support it, who love what you're doing. Share your message, and have been saying these things. Glad to hear you saying them. Keep using that platform. Keep spreading mama's cooking. And we'll keep praying for you, and keep if we can do anything to help out, man, please let us know.